The extremists believe that society can't be fixed politically, that society is going to crash, it's going to fall, and it's either going to happen on its own or through man-made events. And they want to speed it up, hence accelerate it, to crash so they can come in and take over whatever sections they want and have their own little ethno-state.
Take us back to the beginning. Why did the FBI decide to go undercover with the base?
We had intelligence on several members, and they were just starting to draw a lot of attention. It was kind of new, but they were on Gab, and they were, their channel would get canceled, and then they'd create another one, change something in the name, create another one. And we were just getting different agencies calling us. We were getting online people spreading intelligence, saying, hey, these guys are really putting some bad stuff out there. So we started looking at it, and we decided to go proactively after it and try to infiltrate to see if they were actually planning on doing something bad or whether it was just First Amendment protected.
You didn't have any idea at that stage what they might be doing or planning, right?
No, other than just crazy rhetoric
Yeah.
online, which isn't, if you say you're going to kill somebody online, yeah, we can start looking at some charges, but just crazy rhetoric of like, I wish everybody would die that's not white. As bad as it is, it's First Amendment protected. So in a lot of undercovers I've done, you get on the inside, you get face to face, you get on these channels where they're doing side conversations, and you find out, are they really planning on doing something bad or not? And it might be 6 months and you find out they're not doing anything bad. And then maybe we just go interview everybody. But in this case, we found out they were planning on doing several things bad.
You've been doing undercover work since 1996. Mm-hmm. What are some of the groups that you've gone undercover with? And how was the base different than those previous ones?
So answer to the first part of the question, I did 2 years in the Outlaws, a motorcycle club up in Massachusetts. I've done public corruptions in the backwoods of East Tennessee for 1.5 years. I've done a full year working full-time third shift as a security guard. I've done lots of murder for hires, or what I call the closer, where like I go meet an extremist who needs a bomb to go blow up the Michelin plant, or I meet an extremist who needs a gun to shoot up the synagogue. And then there's multitudes of others. But what I'll say, one thing that really stuck out to me in the base is I'm getting older and they're young. So you're getting to a point to where you're going to have to pass a torch to younger undercovers.
Let's deal with that for just a second. You mentioned don't underestimate these groups, and you also mentioned they go after young people. Mm-hmm. Elaborate on that.
So for me, in my experience, all the years, it's no different than a gang. It's no different than a cult. They look for people from broken homes. They look for people that need to belong. And that's when you see like gangs. I work those a lot. We're going to beat you in. You're going to bleed in, but if you want to go out, you got to bleed out. But after getting your butt kicked, now you're part of the brotherhood. But what really happens is it's not really a brotherhood. Somebody goes to jail, they don't get their family taken care of, and they come out angry. Cults, same thing. With this, we've advanced so much with social media and technology and the dark web. These kids are getting radicalized online. They sit in their rooms all night. Their parents don't pay attention. If they do, they put on blinders. Oh, that's a swastika. Oh, that's Mayan Kampf. Oh, that's siege. Oh, there's a skull of an animal that's been cleaned there and it's got runes and stuff all over it, but it's just a phase. The kid doesn't have a car, but he's got multiple rifles. He's got a duty belt. He's got plate carriers, helmets, fleck tarn uniforms. It's not a phase, So I would say the big difference is they're younger, but it's tough with being radicalized online.
It sounds like you're talking about a lot of troubled people going in, looking for a way to deal with life.
For a lot of them, yes. Now from my experience, there's some rare ones that, just join the group, but usually it's a process, right? Even if I was being undercover, it's not, you don't just, today I'm this, and all of a sudden now I'm a neo-Nazi accelerationist. You have to be able to explain how you became that. Maybe you started as a libertarian, less government, you were believing this, then you started getting a little bit more angry, and then you get full-blown accelerationism.
Why was it important for you to tell your story here at the Eradicate Hate Global Summit?
It's my first time. I was invited because of the Rolling Stone magazine article, but I'm retired. So I've been on Zoom calls with people and they're like, why now, Scott? Why after all these years? And I go, it's not grandiose. I just retired. I said, I've always taught. I'm going to continue teaching. I love meeting new people. I love spreading knowledge and I love learning and just paying it forward.
Given that you had an experience which very few people have had with the base or with these types of groups, I'm curious as to what you see as the fix. Obviously, law enforcement can't go undercover for every one of these groups. What do you see as qualitative tools to help deal with this threat?
There's a lot of people here that are probably more well versed in like computer stuff than me, but like I said in there talking, you have to stop the opportunity. If there's no opportunity for them to go down that rabbit hole, then you at least thwart a little bit. I always say your best defense is a good offense, right? I'm going out there and I'm going to say, hey, how's it going? I mean, that's what JTTF, the FBI does. You get a complaint. If it's not enough to open a case, we're going and we're knocking on your door. Hey, how's it going? Scott Payne. We got a complaint on you because you posted something. And I mean, are you really planning on hurting anybody? But you're checking them. But it all starts at home. Parents have got to pay attention. And I'm not blaming parents who are out trying to work 3 jobs. I'm just saying you have to pay attention. If a kid's being bullied and they're sitting at home, and I know COVID affected a lot of people differently, but you got told to stay home for a year. And all you do is dive into that. You don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend. You've been bullied. The signs they usually match up a lot with your active shooters. And I teach active shooter instruction. So take away the opportunity. See something, say something, and talk to people.
Scott, at what point when you were undercover did you realize this was going from Wacko's speech that's protected by the First Amendment into an actual real risk or threat?
When he told me we were going to whack some people. On the ride down there, I'm thinking, is he going? I mean, it says bring guns. That's the only thing that's different. Why would we need to bring guns and ammo, And I couldn't figure it out. We were just guessing, but we're like, really? And when one of the members of the base walked out and told me, he goes, we're going to whack some people, I was like, okay.
Who were the
legit.
people?
They thought that they had identified an Antifa couple. But I will tell you, he was already building a list of other journalists, like on news, anchors. And I'm like, so you really plan on us going and killing people who are on TV who are far left? And he said, yes. And I said, well, it's good we're taking a practice run on this family then, because that's going to draw a lot of scrutiny. Just played it like that. But yeah, no good. But that's when I figured it out.
Having gone through the experience you went through, and you already talked about the online temptations that are out there and the online attempt to influence and recruit, what do you think of now? You're retired, you had this unique experience. When you see the sort of rhetoric and the sort of stuff that's online now, in the context of what you went through, what goes through your mind?
So I ran into somebody here that they've developed something to go on Twitter and identify and try to de-radicalize. And I'm like, that is awesome, but you need to take that and hit Discord. You need to take that and hit 4chan, 8chan, 12chan, whatever chan they're on right now. Threema, Wire, Riot, all these Telegram, all these apps that you can get, Snapchat. You've got to figure out a way to not let them keep going down the rabbit hole. I'm not sure how to do it, other than in my job, my former job, I go out and I talk to people. I develop sources of information. If I don't have coverage in that world, I find somebody who does, and I try to get them to work with me.
You made a reference when you were talking to Michelle to the red pill.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So I learned that as well in the base and in that culture of, actually, I was in another group too. We didn't arrest anybody, just bailed out because they weren't breaking any laws. But the red pill moment is taken from the movie The Matrix. And it's where, Keanu Reeves has to decide, do you want the blue pill or the red pill? If you take the blue pill, you go back to your life, you never know what's going on, you live oblivious. If you take the red pill, you're gonna see the truth for what it is, and see everything. So they take that and they say, when was your red pill moment? So you need to be able to, I mean, it's a big deal. Like, okay, I got red pilled when I got jumped by 8 black guys in the bathroom. Oh, okay. I got red pilled when I saw a black man accost my mother at a gas station. Okay. You know, you got to have something
It was
that
that
pushes
turning
you.
point.
Yes. Like when you were basically radicalized, or if you're, you know, in the Christian faith, it's you were saved, you were baptized. What, something you remember, what happened, what pushed you to that point. So that's the red pill.
You were with the base for quite a while. What singular moment or experience stands out in your mind above all the others?
It has to be the sacrificing of the goat and drinking his blood at a pagan ritual.
Tell me about that.
We burned American flags. We had a weekend training camp. We burned American flags. We burned Bibles, which didn't really burn, by the way. That's a comical side story. And then the group kidnapped a goat, stole it, and we took it down to a pagan site and sacrificed it to start the wild hunt to signify us going out and purifying the world of non-whites. And then you drank the blood of the goat. And then we carried the goat head around for the next 2 or 3 days. There's actually a picture that got blasted all over, all of us standing there with a goat head.
Oh.
With the base flag.
Do you worry about your safety now?
No, sir.
Why?
Well, first of all, in almost all of my cases, they're typically criminal charges. So even if you don't know at the moment you're being arrested that I'm the guy, as soon as you get your discovery, you know I'm the guy. We have to turn over discovery, and then they'll see, oh, it was Scott, you know? So that's the way all mine are. So once I'm overt, I'm overt. Like I wouldn't go back I could never do anything with the Outlaws again after being with them for 2 years. You know, I could never do anything with the base. And if I would have stayed in it and say I was going to go to another group, I'd be like, hey, has anybody in that group ever been in the base? I've just been blessed to be able to go from those cases to cases and not get burned.
So even though the base is destroyed, other white nationalist, white supremacist organizations are out there, you have no fear of them going, hey, this guy got a like-minded organization. Let's get him.
I don't.
Okay.
And that's not really being cocky. I worked on the border for 6.5 years, working against the cartel. There's somewhat of a standard operation procedure where, you know, if you know it's a Fed or law enforcement doing a hit, I don't know. I don't see it. But they know. I built my house on a hill. It's one way in and out of my neighborhood. All my neighbors know what I do. You know, I don't walk in fear, but I don't walk with my eyes closed either, you know?
Yeah.
But all of my older cases, I don't have any, most of them would probably sit down and talk to me. But some of the ones from the base, they're young, you know, they get out in 6 years, maybe they might be stupid enough to try something.
Did you interact with any of the targets of the investigation after they realized that you were an undercover?
No, I never did.
Okay, you never had interaction.
No, because once I got kicked out of the wire base chat group, that was it. I didn't have any interaction.
Talk to me about acceleration.
Again, just speeding up the fall of society. That's what they want. For instance, Helter Skelter voted for Hillary because in his mind, if Hillary won, the economy would be bad. Cops would be defunded. You know, towns would be getting set on fire, and that would speed up the collapse of society.
Scott, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Very much appreciated.
No problem, sir.